Ball goes back down. Gray got the tap down from Lyset and stood from the back of the pack, fired it forward. Collected. Able to get the hand pass off. Inside forward 50 it goes. At the back though, strong mark defensively. Stopped there in the end by Payne. Payne then finds Glewis and we stop. So Glewis in no real rush. He's been on pretty early as the footy goes up the line. Lyset came drifting in, wasn't able to quite take it. Ball goes down. Ferns gets it back inside forward 50. The back there, Dewhurst. He had it knocked away from him. Payne was there as well. Emerging quickly, able to turn. Sharrod this time gives it off. Dwyer, goal time! And there's another for Port District. They are on fire at the minute, and they lead this one by 19 points early. And Shock really need to respond, don't they, Jack?
They certainly do. Unfortunately, the viewers haven't seen any of it. They've just joined us, Lockie.
Oh, no.
So we do apologise to the viewers out there who are sitting in the waiting room. But you are live here at Country Living Homes Reserve, and Port Districts have got off to an absolute flyer. They lead 3-2-20, plays 1 point. Just about 16 minutes gone here in the first quarter. Louis Sharrod kicked the first 2 of the game, and I think you just caught the back end of that one. Harry Dwyer kicked a beautiful right foot banana as we're back in the centre.
Yeah, that one is going to come back. It's going to be a free kick there. It is. But this way out, Lyset was infringing the ruck contest, and Haynes, he's got a powerful foot, and he puts it inside forward 50. It was McKay who was competing hard. Little flick out the side with Coe, and he fires off a hand pass. Haynes, and still they work it out. Fired backwards. That is going to be a ball up. Call had took his direct opponent over the line. It's going to be thrown back into play.
It's been all Port Districts early on, hasn't it, Lockie? It's just been locked in the Port Districts forward half. Only a couple of forays forward for Sacred Heart a few minutes ago. So the reigning premier are seizing their moment here at home in round 11 action of the Adelaide Footy League. And the gang tackle there from Port District sees Tyson Coe head buried into the turf. A bit slow to get up. Colorado's now into the ruck for Sacred Heart against Sam McKay. Forward now for Port District, bobbling around, gets a handball out. Only as far as Bowen Payne for Sacred Heart, and again it's 2v1 for Port District, so they're outnumbering at the contest. They clear now, do Sacred Heart, Hildyard, Keel, clever fist coming across the front of the contest, getting it forward, and he's ended up on the end of it. The kick forward's not great though, it didn't favour his teammate Moddy Statch. Intercepts, and he's got Gaffney here on the near side, and Haynes for support. He'll use him on the back feed. With a penetrating ball down the line, finds Ferns. That's really good, but he's dropped it. Did well to compose himself and handball forward. Sharrod, good use of the body on McRae. Gray, can he fly from 3 deep? He does. But Hildyard, with a golden fist, sends it out of bounds.
Yeah, Gray, he is an absolute superstar sometimes. Wasn't quite able to rule that one in. But that would have been an absolute fantastic grab. They had to get going again. Now from about 40. And Lyset was trying to back in the ruck contest. Got the footy in the end. Then had plenty clinging off him. He's gone. And they get rid of the 2018 Premiership player. As that one goes. And there's a good mark taken as well. A little hand pass fired across. Gaffney goes inside. He's got a one-on-one. Carter's there. Rolls towards the back. Lyset's chasing. But that one ends up going over and out and it ended up in the hands of Smith there.
Lockie, you've seen Scott Lyset in Port a fair few times this year. He's moving a lot better than last year, isn't he? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, he had some real troubles. He's actually been able to get through a pre-season, which sort of helped. Last year it was very much, he'd come back for one session, hurt his knee. He was probably another knee operation away from being medically retired, he was saying. So that one goes out towards the outer side. So he's managed to get that knee right over the course of 12 months, and now he's back playing some good footy.
Gaffney here. It's the short one from Niskahus, who took a good intercept mark over Rupana. Let's look for Reggie to do something magical down in the forward line for Sacred Heart as the game goes on. Carter on the second attempt. Big searching lead and searching kick from Gaffney. Just put it to the spot and said, someone get on the end of it. That's what Tommy Carter did.
Yeah, he's a dangerous footballer, Carter, and he's coming off taking an absolute screamer last week. It was absolutely incredible. You were there. You can probably describe it better than me, but I saw it on the replay. And now Carter goes back to have a shot at goal.
Yeah, it was. It was a great mark. Nathan called it well, my co-commentator that day. He's got 8 for the year, Tommy Carter. This one's on the way, but he's pushed it to the far side. And it's through for one behind. So that's an even 20-point ball game we've got on our hands. Lockie just ticked into red time right now in the first quarter.
I'll tell you who'll be most disappointed there. Stream went down with technical difficulties. It'll actually be Louis Sharrod, because it's not very often he kicks 2 goals in a game, let alone 2 goals to start a game. And it wasn't for, and he didn't get to see it for the people. But I'm sure people, if they're really interested, can go back and have a look at them. They were fantastic. Oh, it'll be in the halftime highlights as well. They're brought to you by Dartfish, so don't worry about that. You'll be able to see them. Here we go. Rapina was there, wasn't quite able to hang on to it. And that is going to be a good tackle there on Dewhurst. He's wrapped up by Davidson. He's going to be thrown back.
Port District's pressure's been of note in this first quarter. It's been really strong.
Has been. Can they sustain it for 4 quarters, though? Shock, of course, will come hard. A margin of 20 points at the minute. It could be 20 points at quarter time if you don't have any further scores. But of course, just into red time now, so plenty of time still. Ball gets thrown back into play. Ball gets tapped, and it's going to be wrapped up there with Carpeney. He's a good player, Kenneth Carpeney. He offers a little bit of X factor in that Port forward line. They've got through a couple of other players, but he really is an excitement factor. This ball goes up there, Jack.
Carlotto, McKay wins that one down. Second ruck today. Ethan Moore, little hat kick forward. Gaffney with composure. Haynes ducked the head. And Rupana corrals him out of bounds. He's got plenty of height over Rupana and still decided to duck the head. Would have liked to see a stiff arm. Dustin Martin-like.
Yeah, there you go. That's your second comparison to AFL players today.
Haynes is probably not quite like Dustin Martin, maybe more like a Lockie Whitfield type. Ball comes forward, and taken high is Cooper Brinkworth for Sacred Heart. So they need a goal. Can they get a red time goal? 22 minutes gone. Ethan Moore takes it right on his defensive 50 line. Doesn't have much on. And that's exemplified there by Haynes taking it. Intercept mark all on his own and finds Gray on the rebound. He just found himself in a little pocket of space, and Haynes lowered the eyes. He's going to kick from just outside 50, but the wind's going to be right behind him, Lockie.
That clearing kick as well was an interesting position when you didn't have a lot on.
It's gone short. Niskahus. It's probably the smart decision, I would have thought.
They're just working it up in 25-metre passes, but I was going to say that decision there to go into the centre of the ground when you don't have a lot on is a very interesting one. It's a very interesting way to try and lead defensive 50. I would have thought long down the line would be the way to go. Yeah,
it could be game plan. They sort of want it. Maybe the game plan is to take it on through the corridor, and there just wasn't the representation they needed. But yeah, unfortunately, can't do much about it now. Niskahus, we're right behind this one for filming footy. And a few expletives coming from the ground was from Jason Niskahus as he's pushed that to the near side. 21 points the margin. Dewhurst to bring the ball back in.
He knew exactly the moment it left his boot that he had stuffed his lines there. That one's a good mark to Hildyard. And Hildyard just takes his time again, defensive pocket. Interesting here from Shocks. They decide to go up the line. That's a good fist away. And there is Rapania, but he wasn't able to get it out, and that one is turned over. As the footy comes back, Hildyard's there, stopped by him as it goes up the line. Colorado! That was pretty good. Good mark there.
Oh, free kick. Whoa. The other way.
That's disappointing.
It's interesting.
Well, he kind of burst through the pack, and then, unfortunately, it didn't quite work for him. As up the line goes Carter, or finds Carter, rather. As Carter then turns. Gets it inside forward 50. Big pack forming, Lysette. Bounced off his chest. Ball falls down. We'll try and charge their way through. They're scrapping in the sand out there. And that one is going to be called to play on because the footy's out the side. Umpire says we're going to have a ball up instead. Different decision. Umpire blew his whistle. Everyone stopped momentarily waiting for the ball up and he signalled play on. Ball goes back up. And it works its way there. It's picked up and here we go. Oh no. turnover.
Should be holding the ball.
It should be holding the ball. It is. And it was
Jack Gaffney.
yeah, Jack Gaffney with the footy. Boyle that was caught in the end. Let's see what he's able to do. Young Jack, he's going to have to kick it, I would say 48 metres directly in front of us here. So in the pocket.
Same like Louis Sharrett's first goal. Left-hand goalpost. Let the wind do its thing.
So to add a third goal kicker and a fourth goal to this contest for Port District. Kick is going right the way across, and that has ended up over and out. It's going to be brought back into play there. It looks like it's going to come from Keel, who's doing some defensive work as well as his normal midfield stuff as well. He's hard in and under, isn't he, Keel? He's a really good player.
Yeah, he is. I've liked what I've seen from him so far. Just on that breeze as well, like he just feels like it's picked up in the last sort of 5 or so minutes. It's pretty heavy to the right-hand side, so Sacred Heart are going to have that in the second quarter, and yeah, it might be a bigger breeze than maybe what we thought.
Absolutely.
Gaffney, hat kick forward. Who's on the lead? Dinoff, great mark. That was a tough contested mark in front of Payne, who was right with him all the way, but he held on.
He did. It was a good mark in the end, as you said there. Hard one to try and complete, and did a good job.
That's why we teach our kids to get the jukes out, because that's what happens. Deinhoff wheels around on the snap. Doesn't quite get there. Gray brings it to ground and slapping it through. Brandon Smith. And that is quarter time, Lockie.
Indeed it is. It's been a great quarter of footy if you are of the persuasion of Port District. They lead this one 4-3-22. Sacred Heart one behind. Plenty of footy still to come though in this first versus third clash. The grey clouds are rolling in. Are we going to see some rain? Well, potentially. It's been a great first quarter, but we'll see you for more here on the other side of this on Filming Footy.
Get a quick and easy low-rate car loan from Police Credit Union today.
New Hyoketsu, vodka, soda, and frozen natural fruit juice. Hello, yes.
We've been housemates for, what, nearly 4 years?
Yep, basically since I started my uni degree and you got your apprenticeship.
Yeah, it's been really good. Like, it's the little things, you know? Like, one of us is always around to house it when the other goes on holiday. And one of us is always ready to help the other out of jam.
I don't know. Yeah, happen again. It's usually me. My HECS debt doesn't leave a lot of room for holidays or working transportation or food. But it's worth all the debt, right?
No.
But what about your debt?
Debt isn't a problem for me. I get paid to learn.
You belong in blue. Apply for a career with South Australia Police.
Well, welcome back everybody to Country Living Homes Reserve. It's been an absolute fantastic game of footy. 23 plays 1. Port District really over the top at the minute here. Jack, what can we expect in this second quarter? And what would you do if you were shocked to get back into this game?
The key thing, I think, was the breeze. It was a lot heavier than we thought to the right-hand side, and that's the way Port District were kicking. They peppered the goals 3-5. Sacred Heart barely had a look inside their forward 50. I think it was maybe 2 or 3 inside 50s to Sacred Heart. Port Districts were able to lock the ball inside their forward half, which is something they couldn't do last week against St. Peter's, who were playing with a spare, which made it very difficult for Port Districts to play their front half style of game. So yeah, I think we wait and see to half time and see how Sacred Heart go with the breeze in this quarter.
Yeah, 100%. It is always when you do have a game that does have a bit of wind, you don't really get a clear, I guess, kind of lay of the land until you do end up with at halftime when both teams have kicked into that breeze. Obviously, Port District, made 22 points, made a 22-point lead early. It'll be pretty interesting to see what happens here. Can Sacred Heart pull it back? You'd imagine they would. They're going to have the wind in this second quarter, of course. Sharrett did win the toss right back at the start of the day. And is wrapped in conversation there is Coach Ramsey. And there's plenty here as we get ready to go. Jack Banwell will be your first caller, but everyone's still getting into position. It's a big, big second quarter coming up. If you're from the Port District persuasion, you just keep doing what you're doing and just know you're going to be kicking in the wind instead of with it this quarter.
Yeah, agreed. They'll probably make some game plan tweaks. Maybe the defence plays back shoulder instead of front shoulder, which is maybe what they were doing in the first quarter. They're an experienced outfit. They'll know how to combat this game. It's their home ground. They're used to the Wild West of Adelaide with the breeze later on in the afternoon. So they'll make the adjustments. It's just if Sacred Heart are good enough to take advantage of their opportunities, I think.
Well, in the Wild West, we're about to get underway, Jack.
We are the Wild West. Country Living Homes Reserve, second quarter action coming your way on Filmic Footy. Lysette wins the tap down. Keel was one of the better players for Sacred Heart in the first quarter. Showed plenty of promise through the middle of the ground. Won the first clearance of the second quarter, and Noble wraps up. Somebody from Port Districts, Mitch Gaffney for another ball up. So Noble didn't do a whole lot influential for Sacred Heart in that first quarter. It needs to get going. He's a key contributor for their team. Sharrett with the clearance. McKay, strong mark, and that ball just drifted over the back of the Sacred Heart defender. Yeah,
well, there you go. Potentially they're interesting, kicking into the wind and it drifts over the top of the defender, potentially just misread the footy there.
This is, if he can, I don't think he's going to have the journey. It's a pretty far kick, but if he can put it through, this one goal could be worth 3. So it's Sam McKay, who kicked 2 goals last week, so he knows where the sticks are, and he struck it really well. And he loves it, Sam McKay. So that's an all-important goal, the first of the second quarter, and it's just what Port Districts would have needed to keep up their momentum from the first quarter. As we just touched on, into the breeze, 1 goal can be just as good as 3.
So that opens up the game-high 25. That actually opens up a game-high 28-point lead. There we go. As my math fails me. Sorry about that one there, primary school teachers. But yeah, that's very, very impressive. It was actually a minute and a half faster than Sharrod's goal in the first quarter as well. So even quicker, Port District have hit the scoreboard, kicking into the wind. Ominous signs there for Sacred Heart. Back in the centre we go. And it looks like it's going to be tapped forward there by Boyle. Works out towards Q. He might have left it behind. Good tackle on him. He's dumped into the dirt. He's going to be a ball up. Ball thrown back up. And it just works its way out there. Lysette gets it paddled forward. Good tackle. Really strong tackle there. McDermott wrapped up his direct opponent. Umpire says we'll have it back. His direct opponent on that occasion was Matty Rose. That's got to be an eye-opening experience, playing on a guy with nearly 200 games, or over 200 games of sample experience. Works its way back towards Lysette. Lysette takes his time. Got a few options running through. Decides long booming kick towards half forward is where it goes. Pack flies. Sharrett marks. Turns and takes his time. Thinks through the options. Long and deep. A penetrating ball for McKay, for Carter. He was there. Had 2 bites of the cherry, but he's going to be a ball up.
He was in position A there, Tommy Carter. Got the drop of the ball right and just didn't hold on, did he?
Absolutely.
Inside Port District's 50 now. McRae, the bone crusher. Carpeny, handball out. Hildyard in pursuit now for Sacred Hearts. Deep in their defensive 50. Good smother there from Ferns. Keel, he's had a stack of it. And that was almost like a UFC takedown move by Jack Ferns there to hold up Cam Keel.
Didn't realise we had Ilya Taporia out there.
Oh, I'm not so strong on my UFC fighters. If that is one, it could be a WWE fighter for all I know. With the ball now, Harry Boyle took on one, took on two. Kenny Carpenter said, not three, holding the ball. Bit of afters there from both players. Umpire just says, get on with it, fellas. Kenny Carpenter now into the team today. Looks like he's going to go back. Lockie against the wind. Could be a tough shot.
Yeah, it could be. He's a good player though, Carpenter. We saw him at a snap at goal early. That was one of the behinds that Port District ended up with. But it'll be interesting to see whether or not he's able to make good of it on this occasion from the set shot.
Only played 4 minutes in this second quarter, so if they can add a second in the second quarter, this will be very worrying for Sacred Heart. But he hasn't registered a score, unfortunately, there, Carpenter. So that's out of bounds on the full. Glue is to bring the ball back in.
Might have left his kicking boots at home. Kenneth Carpenter. There is the footy. A long penetrating ball. Fist flies, and that is going to be a great tackle there. Umpire says that is going to be a ball up. Last off the dirt there is the player in Forster. Ball might whip its way out and it rolls towards goal, but he's not able to quite keep it in. Umpire says I'll have that one. Just a lull. Moment of excitement here. Port District absolutely all over the top of it. As we come back into play. Lyset loses out Boyle. Sharrod, still with Sharrod. He got it moving forward, inside forward 50. Two fly. Carpenter stayed down, was nearly front and centre. Cleared instead there by Payne. Big pack forms. Simons was there. Picked back up and Port District try and come charging through. Rose was wrapped up.
Simons has been quiet thus far, hasn't he, Lockie?
Indeed, that was Niskus, I do apologise. But yeah, he has been quiet, although he did have 7 last week, so it's going to be tough work for him to better that.
Carpenter, umpire calls play on. Ball bouncing around. McKay tracks it well, keeps it in front. Didn't find his teammate with the handball. Gluyas, McDermott couldn't quite take it, went over his head. And his teammate for support there, Harry Boyle, follows up with a good tackle on Carpenter, who's just grabbing his lower leg. Looks slow to get up. Could just be a bit of cramp, I think. He's just hobbling around now. Noble over the back of Lyset. Struggled to get front position. Kicking in danger. It is, says the umpire, Louis Sharrod. Just interfering there of the Bone Crusher. So haven't called his name too often today. Here's Noble. This is what he likes to do. Gets involved in their offense. Goes long and strong to the forward line. Davidson kept it in front. Moore wrapped up. Scooter Lyset holding the ball, says the umpire. The away fans around our commentary position don't like that call from the umpire. And he chips it backwards to Cooper Gaffney.
No, I was going to say the away fans, they haven't gone into the club rooms and made themselves comfortable. They are out here in force. As that one goes across the ground. They do get it out towards Moddy Statch. His kick then up the line works okay. A little kick on for Dwyer. And there's a little hand pass through. They still keep running down the wing. The back, through hands. There again is the Bone Crusher. And he gets it over the boundary line. McRae, and speaking of crushing bones, he made sure Sharrod certainly felt that one and gave away a free kick. That's a little bit silly. And Sharrod, in the position he's been in today, could probably kick it from here. Decides against it instead and gives it across to Gray. That's silly action though. Have a look at this on the Dartfish. You don't think you'll hear it? You don't think you'll be hearing from the MRO for this?
Let's have a look. I didn't quite see it live, so no, nothing in it for the MRO, but yeah, just potentially unneeded. Sharrod maybe went to ground too easily and sold the contact. I don't know, it's a tough one these days. Everything gets looked at. Everyone has their opinion on bumps and stuff. It's footy. I think they should just put the whistle away at times, but that's my opinion.
It's hard when there's 8 cameras on you at all times as Gray steps in and kicks up behind, just to the near side. So 4-6 plays one behind, so 29-point ball game. Interesting point though, I mean, they are starting to waste a number of opportunities here, Port District.
They certainly are. In their 2 losses, they've kicked more points than goals, so it has come back to hurt them at times this season, the reigning premier. The ball's ended up all the way down to Sacred Heart's forward line. Denton tracks it back. They had no one there. with the wind, they just maybe didn't read the kick correctly, and it sailed over everyone's head, and Denton was playing last man in defence for Port. Now it's with Haynes. He's going to drive this one out of their 50. McRae, Carlotto, no talk between the three Sacred Heart players. Modistat just tracked it for Port, and Rupana lays a nice tackle to hold that one up. That could have been another exit too easily out of D50 for Port, but Sacred Heart have held it up. Noble, Lysette, McRae all over it. Tackled, Lysette, ball bobbling around, doesn't go too far. Another stoppage. So, make no mistake about it here, Lockie. 9 minutes gone, second quarter. Sacred Heart need a goal. They can't leave it too late to forge a comeback, and especially with this bit of wind that they've got, it's a slight advantage for them, so they need to make the most of it.
And of course, they'll lose it as well in the third quarter. So, you know, if you go down, you're 4 goals down, you say they'll probably lose the third quarter, you get 6 goals down at three-quarter time, you can't do a whole lot about that. That's game gone. You move on to next week, and you take your last quarter as a bit of a training drill. What they really need now is, you know, a couple of goals down this quarter, you get towards 3, even if you then do go and lose the third quarter, you know, you're only sort of maybe 4 goals down. That is something. You can launch from that position. They do desperately need some goals before this quarter ends. We haven't seen Shock been hold goalless to half-time for quite a while, as Pure off the back of the pack tries to change that. That one is grabbed there, twisting and turning, and had to give the footy back. Works out okay there as Denton goes inside towards Haynes, and Haynes, that is a laser of a pass over to the other side. Rose is almost as if he'd ordered it in the post, that football. Gets towards Lysette. Lysette goes and finds Dinoff. They are absolutely all over them at the minute, Port District. That was easy. Shock, no more difficult than training cones out there at the minute. Yeah,
they're humming at the moment, Port Districts. The ball barely touched the ground, and the key battle that I saw today was Lysette and Noble, and Lysette's definitely just inserted himself in the contest thus far in that one.
So haven't kicked a goal in 9 minutes. The kick is on its way, and it gets there. They changed that. Big goal. And Dinoff adds his name to the goal kickers list. Big trouble here for Shock. They've got to respond. They've got to respond desperately now.
Yeah, they certainly do, Lockie. What's that margin drifted out to?
35 by my math.
5 goals, 6. Your math is correct. So 6 goals on the Kieran Hayaketsu vodka lemon soda scoreboard.
You ever had it? It's good. I did hear a rumour that when we film
good drop.
When we film between the posts tomorrow, you might be covered in it. That's the rumour.
Is that the rumour tomorrow? Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll wait and see. I might catch a cold overnight. Carlotto now. The captain coach is going into the ruck to try and insert himself on this contest. He wins a free for his team. Moore, kick long into the forward line, and Davidson, the experience of Sean Davidson, just playing behind, back shoulder as they need to against the breeze, anticipating Sacred Heart are going to bomb the ball in. And it's what's happened a couple of times in the second quarter. It's with Gaffney now on the outer wing. He tracks that bouncing ball down. Mitch Gaffney to his brother. Few players around this one, and a good tackle there by Brendan Smith on Louis Sharrett, it looks like, who's just ruffling a few feathers in this second quarter. He's a bit of a hothead out there. He plays it on the edge. Get under the opposition skin. Boyle. Umpire's called holding the ball on Harry Boyle, even though he handballed the ball out. Not too sure about that one. Niskahus now, he's going to pump this one long and strong into the 50. Who can fly? Ferns can fly. It's fell to Carter in his lap. Must have touched a couple of hands on the way through, because I thought that was a mark. Simon says, not today. And fists it through for a minor score, which takes the margin out to an even 6 goals.
Here we go. It's a 6 goals game high at the minute. As Footy goes out towards McRae, takes a good mark, turns up, and turns and has a look at what he's got ahead of him.
They need to lengthen the ground here, Sacred Heart. He looks up and he's got no one past the centre line, so they need to really lengthen the ground up and create some pockets of space and find some marks. McDermott,
juggled the footy over the line. That one's going to be thrown back into play.
Just putting my coach's hat on here, Lockie. Never been a coach, but Francis, he should just drift back maybe to 20 metres out. Noble, Fox come back a little bit further. They've got Gaffney, they've got Haynes, and then they've got Looks like Miller Carter, they're just queuing up spare behind the ball. So that's something they need to work through either now or at least at half time before this game gets out of hand.
Of course, a margin of 30 points. When you've only kicked one for the game and you head towards half time, that is a real problem. High up and under Footy. Gray, it was his entry. Dynoff's there again towards the outer side. They go Dwyer. Can he trap it? He nearly did. And he's wrapped up. Umpire says that one is going to be a ball up. There was calls of holding the ball from the Shock fans near us, and the umpire said no. It's probably a fair call. Ball back up. Colotto this time working in the ruck. Got a big job against Lyset. It always is a big job against Scotty Lyset. And Keel wins the footy out. Wins a free kick in that contest. Turning and deciding to go across the ground. It's a good kick there. Let's just way out towards Smith, and Smith again. So he just decides a long penetrating ball, and it's actually gotten over the back. Haynes is there, it bounces away from him. It's a little bit of a chaos footy, but it might work out okay for Port District as Joey Haynes ended up with the ball. He then turns. Everyone just goes sliding in. Colotto had to pick it up. He did well, gave it to the running McDermott. McDermott sends it up at the back. There was a couple that were flying. Denton was involved. Down it came. And Denton has to run it back, and Haynes says, "Oop, no, I've ended up over the boundary line," and takes it over for a game high for a 29-point ball game.
Haynes to bring this one in here for Port District. She's just going to pump it long and get it out of the area. Lyset and Carter. Carter just drifts across to the front of the contest, takes an easy mark in the end. Gould, Chisler down the line. Good spoil by Brandon Smith on Jack Ferns. So that was their opportunity there to lock the ball in the forward half for Sacred Heart, and it's come out to the outer wing. So they need to get it in if they can win this clearance, but they can't. Nash Haynes, he's a clever footballer. I like watching him play. He's hard at it. Ball comes out now. Deinhoff has time to steady. One bounce into 20. Seizes them up. He shanked it. It's bounced to Sam Gray, who was all on his own in the goal square. And he's popped it through. So that takes the margin to 41 points.
Well, sometimes when it's your day, it's your day. And they're just absolutely all over it at the minute.
Definitely is their day at the moment.
Look at that, easy as you like.
That was easy as you like, really. It's not great if you're a Sacred Heart fan watching.
That one, 6-6-42, plays two behind, sorry. There is supposed to be a second one there. Scoreboard here at Country Living Homes Reserve, a little bit one-sided. And the behind not quite counted as we go back to the centre. And it is a 40-point ball game. Pretty incredible stuff here. Port District just sending a message to the rest of the competition. We want to go back to back. Stop us if you can. And Shock have withered at the contest. As that one's cleared by Keel, and Keel gets it up towards Haynes. As Haynes intercepts there from Rapanya, and that is gonna go down the line. Oh, that's a good mark. That's a strong mark as well.
It is Ethan Moore.
Yeah, as Moore turns, puts it inside. There is Rapanya. Could he do it? The first goal of the day. No, it's a little bit of a shank kick. He's still there. And that one is going to get cleared away. Haynes. And that is a good mark on the outer side there. It looks to be a relieving mark by the player in. That looks to be Nash Haynes there.
Yeah, it is Nash Haynes. He shanked the kick to Sharrod. Come off the outside of the boot. Gee, that was Rapana's opportunity there for Sacred Heart, wasn't it? He just needed to. He just bobbled as if I don't know, his feet got caught up in the sand there, not too sure, but he could have snapped it on the left or even straightened perhaps and kicked the right footer, but he just fumbled it a little bit and Port District's cleared again. So defence is holding up strong. The number one defence in Division 1 this year are your reigning Premier Port District. So it's definitely been a case of what premiership hangover for Port Districts this season, hasn't it? They've just... The Ditters train is rolling on into season 2025. See if the boundary umpire can get this one online for the third attempt. There we go, that'll do. We're in. We're live. Live set. Simons kicks it forward, only as far as Haynes. Jeez, he's been in everything today, Joey Haynes. He's just about brought his own footy. Miller Carter steps inside. That's nice. Carpeney could have raffled it between two. He took it with a one-handed pluck. Has time for a bounce. Does he have a shot? No. Lowers the eyes. Doesn't find his teammate. And it looks like Gluyas, who repels for Sacred Heart.
Collected here, coming back the other way by Denton. Denton needs to get it across. They're going numerically at the minute because that was Haynes. And that is going to be picked up. Rapagna got it going the other way. He's been vital in the last couple of minutes. As that's given across. Still inside forward 50. Finally! And Q able to deliver for Sacred Heart, and they have waited nearly 50 minutes.
They have, and it's definitely what they needed. And Cam Kill says, if you forwards aren't going to fire and hold your structures, I'll just bloody run through to 50 and put it through. That's a great finish by Cam Kill. And I think it goes back to McRae there. He just lowered his eyes and found 38. It was Francis who held the mark in a tight contest and then gave the handball to Kiel. So McRae lowered the eyes. That's what they're going to need to do, because Port Districts are just flooding back straight away, especially with this wind. They're just anticipating the long bomb, and it worked that time for the visitors. So more of that, please, as we finish this quarter and the second half for Sacred Heart. Lysette wins another hit out. I think he's had the fair share in there today. McRae, big tackle on Matt Rose. The smallest goal on the field now. Kiel grabs the biggest goal on the field, Lysette, for another ball up.
Is that the goal that kick-starts it though, Jack? Are they awake now? Shock.
Certainly feels like it. The away fans in front of us are awake now. Gaffney just tapped it to his teammate's advantage. Carter, good out body there from Brinkworth. They don't go quick, they go backwards and short. That's dangerous because he doesn't know Carter's there. He takes it on the bounce, but put Ethan Moore under immense pressure, and you don't get out of a Scott Lysette tackle.
No, you certainly don't. Duda, he's a massive, massive gentleman, that is for sure. And when he wraps you up, you go down. Well, got tapped. It's going to be a free kick there. It's going to go the way of Noble, who might have been infringing the ruck contest. So he wins out and has a look and decides to go back to the goal kicker in Kiel. He's been the only goal kicker today for Sacred Heart, but it's inside forward 50 again. Boyle needs to give it across. Rapagna this time. No. They're behind, but they are peppering. They're starting to fire. You can just feel the engine. It's just clicked in a second.
You definitely can. Perhaps they were just going through the motions a little bit in the first quarter. You can't be doing that when you come to Country Living Homes Reserve. And after 20 minutes in the second quarter, just maybe they've arrived. The Shocks. It's found its way to McKay from Haynes' long bomb out of fullback. I've liked his game at centre half forward today, Mackay. He's taken some really good marks, giving him some representation down the ground. Ball's bobbling along. Gaffney. Niskus on the left boot. Sends it inside 50. Lysette playing from behind. That's too easy. He dropped it though. He did 9 out of 10 things right. The 10th thing was to take the mark, and he dropped the chest mark. And he would have kicked the goal, you would think. It's with Gould now. Davidson back to Haynes. To Tommy Carter inside. He can play on, but he's held up by Harry Boyle. They looked for the switch. They like going with the switch, and they do that. Miller Carter now comes down the line to Gray. He wanted him to get the 1-2. Sammy Gray, he's very funny. He looks lackadaisical at times, but you know his mind's always on the job. He just chooses when he needs to go and not to go. Sharrod now pumps this one. Lysette, Simons in the hole. With a bit of courage there, Simons brings it to ground. Cleared by Sacred Heart. McAuliffe, haven't called his name all today. He's a lively forward for them. He needs to get involved. That's a nice searching ball to Fox, but it's over his head. Denton As casual as you like. Takes it and comes inside to Haynes. Found him on the one bounce. Rose snaps it over his head. He didn't really look. Haynes, it's a swirling ball and he takes the mark.
So Haynes sides. He's going to go and find Sharrod. Sharrod at half back, a lot more closer to home than what he was doing in the first quarter, which you get to see at half time. It was electric. A bomb from the right, a bomb from the left. He was kicking them from everywhere. Ended up with 2, plus a behind as well, if my memory serves me correct. Picked up there by Haynes, and that is going to be a ball up, I believe, or it's gone out. No, it's going to be a free kick.
I think he's called a throw there, Lockie.
There we go. So it does end up in the hands of Port District. Nearly half back, true centre wing sort of area. Probably a kick behind true centre wing as the kick now goes towards half forward. Big pack! What a fly from Smith. Wasn't quite able to hang on to it. And Gluyas is wrapped up in the end. So another ball up here. It's been a contested game of footy. That's for mine as well. You know, lots of tackles. But there has been times as well where speed has been on the footy. It is a new way to play when you just move the ball and move the ball quickly. Little handball. And there is Rapagna just waiting as he sends the footy inside. And at the back, a strong mark. It was Denton. Gave it back to Haynes. And Haynes goes up the line. There's a player leading at him. And it goes over his gold. Well, it went out in front of him, so it ends up with Boyle. And Boyle just having a moment to just assess. What's he got inside forward 50? Does he go there? He goes instead. Rapagna over the top of his head, though. That's unlucky, as the ball should get clear here.
With Tommy Carter now. Pumps it long and out of the area. It's 3v4 for Port District, and the 3 win out. Shock fans in front of us call for holding the ball. Not paid, says the umpire on Dinoff. Hildyard and Keel, gang tackle, and Gluyas on Alex Deinhoff. Umpire says, Cam Keel, get up. McKay, tap over his head, but only as far as the bone crusher McRae. Rapagna through Miller Carter's legs. He was clean bowled. Now to Tom Carter. Handballs back inside to Miller. Sharrod, that's a great pass, isn't it, to Sharrod. Outside of the boot. Outside of the body, should I say. Nash Haynes. Not too sure what was going on there. So Haynes marked it. Looked to have played on. Or handball. That was just a comedy of errors, to be honest. And the umpire said, just go back and take a kick, mate.
Well, I'm just listening to the advice the umpire's getting from those that have travelled up South Road, and they're less than impressed at the minute, as there was a bit of a fly, and that's a good mark taken there by Ferns. And that there looks to be half time. We have reached the end of the quarter. What a game of footy we are seeing right here. 6-6 plays the 1-3-9. So it's a big game. It's a big quarter coming up now. The third quarter. Can Shock make a little bit of an indent, or will it be Port District's day? You'll have to stay tuned to find out.
Get a quick and easy low-rate car loan from Police Credit Union today.
New 氷結 Vodka, soda, and frozen natural fruit juice. Hello, yes.
We've been housemates for, what, nearly 4 years?
Yep, basically since I started my uni degree and you got your apprenticeship.
Yeah, it's been really good. Like, it's the little things, you know? Like, one of us is always around to house it when the other goes on holiday. And one of us is always ready to help the other out of jam.
I don't know. Yeah, happened again. It's usually me. My HEX debt doesn't leave a lot of room for holidays or working transportation or food. But it's worth all the debt, right?
No.
But what about your debt?
Debt isn't a problem for me. I get paid to learn.
You belong in blue. Apply for a career with South Australia Police.
G'day everybody, welcome back. We're going to go around the grounds half-time score update thanks to BTR Excavations. Of course, this is the BTR Excavations Men Division 1. We'll start with our game at 6-7-43. Plays at 1-3-9. Sacred Heart have been outclassed so far, but it was a goal to kill. That was the last score of the first half, which saw them at the 19-minute and 46 mark drag the margin back to 34 points. But as we go around the ground elsewhere as well, Paynham, they're 4-1-25, Salisbury North 11-8-73, Golden Grove at 7-5-47, plays at 4-10-34. Prince Alfred doing a number on Broadview, 13-6-84, 1-3-9. Will that first win ever come for Broadview Tigers in this division? Well, I think they might have to wait till the next time they are up. Glenunga as well, 6-1-37. They've just got a lead there over the top of Ross Trevor, based on what I saw there. And we are going back here. Country Living Homes Reserve. This is going to be a massive, massive second half of footy. Shock need to make an inroad on this lead. They cannot lie down and get rolled over the top of by that 70-80 point margin. They've got to make an inroad. Port District's on the other side. They are absolutely flying at the minute. They are in cruise control, and they'll be hoping to get a percentage boost out of this one.
Yeah, they'd certainly be eyeing off it at the moment. As we stand at half-time, 34 points to the good. I definitely don't think it will be a percentage booster. I think Sacred Heart will give a much better account of themselves at half-time. We saw some pretty stern conversations happening just beyond our commentary position where Sacred Heart set up camp for half-time. Of course, Port District's getting some new renovations here at Country Living Homes Reserve, so a bit of makeshift change rooms for both teams at the moment. So we're able to get an insight to Sacred Heart and what their plans are. So yeah, they were just very wasteful going forward. They had the breeze in that second quarter, Lockie, and we were hoping that they could get some return on the scoreboard for that. But yeah, they were just wasteful. The defenders were playing really smart for Port Districts, playing back shoulder and just reading the cues of the kickers, and there was a lot of long bombs going down into Shock's forward line. So they'll have to fix that up for the second half, and particularly in this first quarter, going against the breeze. They need to take their opportunities when they come and put it on the scoreboard. Yeah,
absolutely, they do. I'm just having a look here as well. Top player last week for Shock. He's not out there today. Have a guess at who it is.
Ben Maroney? No.
Hunter Window, 32 disposals last week, and you do kind of have that moment because you just expect him to do what he needs to do. It's just rolled through it. He just does what he does. It's incredibly hard not having players like him, and Agnew for mine is their best defender. He's not out there today as well. You struggle when you lose those stars, and that's no excuse for the scoreline as well. Shock haven't held themselves accountable and have not made a good inroad on this score so far. But there's still plenty of footy to go. There's still plenty of time here for the boys down south, and I'm sure they'll travel home if they're able to take account of themselves, regardless of whether or not they win or lose this game. If they improve from half-time, they've got something to go into next week's challenge.
They'll still definitely have a lot of hope going into the second half. They've been really, really good in third and fourth quarters. It was only a couple of weeks ago where they broke away from Salisbury North. They kicked 5-goal to 2 or 3, I think it was, in the last quarter to get over the line there. So they come from behind in that game. So there's been a couple of other games where they've come from behind either at quarter time or half time, and they've run the game out strong in the second half. So it's definitely not over. We're just going off of what we saw in the first half, and Port Districts were very, very impressive. So it's going to be a mountain to climb, but I definitely think that they're capable of climbing the mountain. It's just whether if they can apply themselves in the right way in this second half. Only time will tell. So stick around on Filming Footy to catch this first versus third game in round 11 of Division 1.
Of course, so much is going to happen here, and we've got just enough time to read out all the sponsors: Filming Footy, Sports Interactive, Classic Clashes, Custom by RTC, High Five E-Bike, Startfish, Archie's, Jag Meatworks and Kimberley Resorts. It's going to be a great second half. Your first caller is going to be Jack Banwell.
Just a quick question off the cuff here, Lockie. Who's your 3 votes for the High Five E-Bikes Player of the Year today?
As of half-time?
Who do you reckon?
Sharad 1. I wish I'd had more time to prep for this question. Sharad 1, Cooper Gaffney 2, and I'd give Scotty Lysette 3 because I think that key battle he's winning warrants his best on ground at the minute.
You've made a new enemy in Joey Haynes. He's brought his own footy today, mate.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I'll cop that. Look, it was hard. It was off the cuff.
Here we go. Port District's 34 points to the good. Sacred Heart need to respond in this second half. Wait and see what happens here on Filming Footy. Mitch Gaffney clears forward for Port Districts. It's in their forward line. Dwyer, snap over his head. Gray and Ferns in the goal square. And it looked like Ferns had it, and then I think Sam Gray just stole it out of his mitts, and he's marked it on the goal square. So this is going to put them 40 points in front, Lockie. That's not the start that Sacred Heart needed or wanted.
It's going to be the start they get, though.
They do. Gray puts it through.
So interesting there, Gray's second goal, as we have a look here, he kicked one in the second quarter, now one in the third as well, to roll past half time, and it just looks like they're just going to keep on keeping on. Gray, easy as you like. Have a look at this on the dartfish. Easy goal. Easy goal. And in the end, they are absolutely flying.
And sorry, again, they got the breeze in this third quarter, and Ferns and Gray were playing from the back, playing the percentages, and the ball drifted over the Sacred Heart defenders, and they were there in the right position to take advantage. So looks like Sacred Heart, early signs third quarter, haven't learnt from the first half.
They certainly haven't. Lyset should get it out here. He's unable to. Carpenter sneaks around the back of the pack. He then goes and wins the football and turns away, using that speed he's got. Up towards half forward it goes, collected by McKay. He then paddled it down. Dwyer, does he try the impossible? Centres the footy instead. Bouncing ball at the back. Sacred Heart's defenders are here. They then give the hand pass across. And it's a good work there by Forster. And then with Galuyas, the kick goes long and over the line. That is going to be out of bounds on the full. So it was a clearing kick. Who's going to grab the footy here? It looks like he's going to be Port District player. Just trying to work out who it is through the benches there. There we go. Kick comes inside. Lyset through his hands. Collected then by Dwyer. And that's a high and up and under footy. No one able to win it out yet. Grabbed there by a defender. And they do get it away. Back towards Moore. Comes charging through. Sharad. Goal number 3. And they are absolutely running riot.
They are humming at the moment. The Ditters train. It is rolling on. 46 points the margin. Wouldn't have thought this coming into the game, did we, Lockie?
Not at all. But that is a classy finish as well. Sharad, he just emerged, and the footy somehow ended up in his hands. He'll have no clue how that happened, but 7-7-55 plays at 1-3-9. I believe there may be a
7-7-49. They're just getting their 8th one on the scoreboard.
There we are. Sorry, that's my bad. I wasn't reading
okay.
the scoreboard properly. But I did want to say as well, all the quarters, first quarter, second quarter, and third quarter, Port District have all come out and kick it to goal quicker than what they had up from the last break.
There you go. So they're going to kick one after 10 seconds in the last, you reckon?
I reckon. Well, they've got 45 seconds to beat.
It's with McRae now on the right boot. Pumps it long. And an excellent spoil coming across there from, looks like Nash Haynes with the long socks. Can't miss him. Last year he had long locks, I think, and now this year he's rolling with the bold pill. What's going on there?
Yeah, so he even had them early stages this year as well. So when I saw the 27, saw Nash Haynes, I didn't think it was him.
He must have lost the bet, maybe. Lyset clears to Payne and Dwyer, and Payne wraps him up. It's a good even contest there from both players. Noble and Lyset again will go to battle. Lyset wins another one down. McDermott snapping over the body. 2-on-1 for Port. Good numbers at ground level. Rose, McRae. That's Coe. Wrapped up by Rose. Seasoned campaigner at Sanford level, of course. Matt Rose knows how to lay a strong tackle, doesn't he?
Yeah, South Adelaide champion. Him and Joey Haynes made the trip up here together. Both actually live out in this area, so they were going down south for training at Sanford level. Now they live nice and close here to the wonderful facilities we've got at Largs Bay. Speaking of wonderful, good intercept mark taken by Bowen Payne in the centre of the ground, right in the centre, as he then turns and kicks and finds Hooper Brinkworth. Back inside, Bone Crusher. He's always there. Good for a disposal, is Bone Crusher.
And a tackle too.
He is indeed. That's why he gets his nickname. Now half forward there. Coe rolls quickly. Gets it out towards a leading forward, and there's a great grab.
Jackson Fox with that one there, Lockie. It's a great grab. Just read the ball flight really well and held on.
He does a nice job there, Jackson Fox, and had a quiet day. But to be fair, it has been hard to be a shock forward today and have a big day. One goal on the day in the third quarter. See what he's able to do though. So Fox gallops in on the runway, and it's coming back and behind. So it was almost there, but not quite for him.
Out on the full.
Out on the full, there you go. So he missed everything. I was giving him more credit than what he deserved.
I thought it was through as well, but heard the whistle. Haynes now to bring it back in for Port Districts. That's a missed opportunity there for Sacred Heart. Jackson Fox hasn't had much of an influence. Would have loved to insert himself on the game. Put that one through, but not to be. This Port Districts defence, #1 defence in the comp, is proving to be very rigid and tough to break down again this afternoon here at Country Living Homes Reserve. Sacred Heart would have had a lot higher hopes coming into this one, especially now we find ourselves a little bit through the third quarter. They would have thought to be a lot closer than what we currently sit. 46 points is that margin. 22 at quarter time and extended to 34 at half time.
Well, I mean, I think it's very interesting because for many, even though they would never admit it publicly, at least for many, I think in the media landscape, Port District is still at their best, the absolute dominant force in this competition. So coming here today and having an opportunity to prove yourself against the best and not taking full advantage of that, that will upset Sacred Heart. Of course, we would still imagine that they would play finals from the position that they're in. But, you know, they would have desperately loved a week off, and losing games like this certainly doesn't help. As Coe ends up with the footy. He then turns, gets it inside forward 50. Big flight. Almost again. Grabbed by Colotto, but it's going to be a ball up.
I think there's no question on their place in September. But yeah, this could just prove a little bit costly to a double chance. Obviously, there's still a lot of time to go in the season.
Ball then goes out and does find, of course, McKay. And McKay and has his kick smothered. That was an excellent effort. Back onto it, though. Footy now at half back. They try and get it inside the middle of the ground here. Port District to force it forward. Shock have had a sustained couple of minutes, haven't they, where they've just been able to sort of hold possession, hold the footy, hold the territory battle. Haven't got a goal or even a score from that dominance. But the footy does go up again. McRae back of the pack. Hildyard got it forward. That's with Gaffney. Fired off, intercepted. Forster, smother, kill, back in, big tackle. Ball up.
That was Niskahus with that smother on Chester Forster. That was sensational, and he's coming to the bench for a well-earned rest. Jason Niskahus, he's been good today off half forward. Sharrod clears from that stoppage. Well, he didn't really. It got smothered. And he follows up his work really well there. Louis Sharrod, the new skipper this year, of course, for Port Districts.
Yeah.
Louis Sharrod, and he's had a really, really good season, sort of in that wing midfield role. He's very versatile. He can even go forward and kick a few goals, as we've seen today. He's got 3, so he's probably one of many players for Josh Ramsey where he's Mr. Fix-It. You can put him anywhere and he does a job. Forster now goes to the outer side and finds Bowen Payne. Returns, tries to move the ball quickly, and it's another skill error for Shock. Hits the ground, puts Hildyard under pressure, and he'll want the boundary line, and he's found it.
Yeah, he needed the boundary line there. Hildyard didn't need, and he did get it over the line.
They're definitely breaking down at half forward, aren't they, Lockie? They just can't seem to sustain the ball in their forward half, and Port Districts are able to rebound with a bit of ease thus far.
Here's an opportunity as well for Shock to play with a little bit of freedom. No one's really expecting anything of them in the second half as the footy just comes waltzing out of the centre. That was an absolutely brilliant bit of play. Ferns is there.
Oh, great.
Still he fights. He's got 3 to deal with. He gets some assistance. Still with Ferns. Good tackle though. And it's wrapped up there. And the umpire says we'll ball it up.
They did well to halve that contest there. Brinkworth left Gray and he was all on his own, and he got the shovel handball out. Could have found its way to him too easily.
So McRae might be able to get it out, unable to. And in the end, it is with Payne. Payne hasn't had a bad game down back either. For Shock. Intercepted there at half forward, and it looks like it's going to be Port District to reload.
Yeah, that was Moddy Stats with that mark, and he's also had a good game in the back half. He's taken some great marks. Ferns wants to fly. He was shepherded out of it. And it's found its way to the back, and McRae just harasses that one through. So 47 points the margin now. Extends by 1. So they need 8 goals.
Game high as well there. As every score is at the minute, just trickles that game high margin over and over. Brinkworth decides a long kick. Bouncing ball. Nearly picked up, wasn't quite. And there is going to be a Rapagna. He's down, fighting. It's going to be a ball up, it looks to be. No, a free kick, no ball up.
It's all even numbers in Port District's forward line.
It's an interesting observation. Does really make it interesting if they're able to get it in there. Rose, probably just stopped. Keel saved a little bit by the whistle. Umpire says I'll have it back middle of the ground here. And Keel is in some pain, and I hope that's not... I hate these 3 letters, ACL. I hope it's not that, but he seems to be okay. He's staying out there.
He's got the ball now.
Yeah, he does have the ball now. He might be able to just win it out here. Shook off a little bit of a knee knock. But any time you see a player grasp at their knee, your thoughts do, go to the worst. He's in a little bit of discomfort, but he's still out there, and the umpire's going to ball it up again.
Gaffney's the spare for Port District's behind the ball, so any rush kick, he's going to mop it up. So Port obviously giving Sacred Heart a taste of the medicine that they copped last week from St. Peter's. And the half forward for Sacred Heart rolls up. They're just dropping back and playing a bit of a spare. It's how they've been able to lock the ball in their front half pretty much the entirety of this game. It's cleared now for Sacred Heart. It's over Gaffney's head, who's the spare. Nearly finds him on the fist down. He shovels it out, gets it to Haynes, who's slung around by Rupana. Moore, excellent tackle, holding the ball. Shock fans like that one down in front of us, and that's a poor kick though, Ethan Moore. He'll want his time again there, Ben Gould.
Gould, half back. Flicks it towards Gaffney. Gaffney taking his time. Goes up the line. Haynes. Again, there's no rush from anybody at the minute. Port District happy to go methodical. Down that outer side wing they go. Dwyer, he was nearly involved. Ball gets out the side. Kick towards the line. Carpenter bounces away from him. And it's going to be picked up. And they'll start again. There's a player that's down here. And that is some real discomfort shown.
Not quite sure who will get his number. McDermott. He was first on the scene with that spoil from Hildyard. And I thought he took the ball, but then I saw it pop out and then he went to the ground. So he might have just got collected perhaps on his way through with the footy, but he's back to his feet now. Hopefully he can continue on. That's a scrubbing kick from Keel. Umpire circling, swarming, holding the ball. And I think that's McDermott again. So he was straight into the thick of it. And Dwyer's rewarded with the free kick.
It's the thing with footballers, they're never shy of a contest.
Chips this ball over the top, doesn't find Carter. Drifting across there is Brad Noble, who's probably lost the ruck battle thus far against Lysette. And it's found its way to Simons, who's drifted to half back from the wing. Nice ball down the line to a teammate. It's Forster. He's trying to draw one, and that's a terrible handball. He's put Simons under immense pressure. Denton now mops up for Port. Back to Rose. Gaffney to his brother. Cooper Gaffney, searching ball to the corridor. Gould outbodies Noble, and he's going to beat him in a foot race to the footy here. He's got a paddock to run into. Ben Gould over the top. Sam Gray was left all on his own. Handball over the top. Deinhoff goal. That's as easy as you like. 2 for Alex Deinhoff now. And they have pretty much got this game sewn up, I would think. They are all over Sacred Heart.
That's the 4th nail going in. You can almost hear the knock there. And, well, that is a pretty dominant display, if we're being honest at the minute. Absolutely crucial, brutal victory that is coming their way. A 53-point ball game. We've got 9-8 there, but I believe that's supposed to be 9-9 to 1-3 on the Kieran Hayo Ketsu scoreboard. Of course, all our sponsors, they do such an amazing job. A massive thank you to all of them. We couldn't be here without them. So Lysette just wins it out of the ruck, and he was trying to say, well, I bounced up and into him and the ball was still coming down, so it's going to be a free kick It looks to be going the way of a midfielder though. So Gaffney gives it across. Then it goes inside. Ball does fall down. Carter's there. He's wrapped up immediately by Smith. Smith another one. The back six for Shock, even though they've conceded 9 goals, have probably had to do with something along the lines of maybe, 12 to, probably more than that, 20 to 25 inside 50. So they've actually held up quite well as Smith gets it away. Good mark by Lysette. And here we go, this repeat inside 50s. It's been the killer all day.
He's been immense today too, Lysette, hasn't he?
I gave him 3 because I forgot about Joey Haynes for a minute as the footy is at the back with McRae. Of course, the votes, the High Five e-bikes, $5,000 bike towards the other side. Best prize in local footy going around, that is for sure. BTR Excavations Adelaide Footy League watching the match of the day as the clearing kick from Colotto came down at the back. McAuliffe, here we are, Rapagna. Rapagna inside forward 50. Oh, crucial defensive spoil. And that is going to be a whistle that's gone. It looks to be a free kick going the way there of Hildyard. And Hildyard, well, doesn't take it on quickly at all there.
He goes long. Pack of players, it's fisted out. And who else but Cooper Gaffney falls into his lap. Laces out Niskahus, just a bit too high for Niskahus. It's mopped up here for Sacred Heart. They go back inside 50. Haynes with a big crunching spoil. And Haynes follows up his work, and he has time for a bounce too, Nash Haynes, and he zigs and zags back inside. Little chiseler at Ferns' ankles. Haynes again follows up his work once more. Rapagna now. McAuliffe lowers his eyes, and that looks like Fox. He's got the ball on the top of 50.
Yeah, he's going back. Dangerous player. Fox has had a couple of moments when the footy's delivered to him. He's able to really take a good couple of leads. And he'll go back now and have a look at the goals.
If my memory serves me correct, I reckon he kicked the most goals for Shock last year in the team. And he kicked a couple last week too, so definitely knows where they are. And he strikes this one well. He strikes this one really well. It's a good finish. And it's what they needed. 53 points, so that makes it, what's my quick maths telling me, 47 points, the margin. On the Kieran Hayakitsu's scoreboard. And that's just something to almost golf clap about for Sacred Heart. Not too much excitement coming from the fans or from the players, unfortunately for them.
Yeah, goal number 2 of the day. It certainly hasn't lived up to last week for them. They found themselves sort of down and out in that first period of the game. And then they were pretty soundly on top there at Broadview. But you can't do that same strategy there against Port District because District had already had them 34 points down, or 40 points down before they kicked their first goal of the day. And again, now the margin at 47. Back off the edge of the half back here. Oh, tackle! Rapagna snuck up on him and wins the free kick as well. Brilliant work there. He's a real talent. See what he's able to do with the footy here. Decides up the line. Good mark taken with Brinkworth. Brinkworth inside forward 50. Plenty leading. And that is brilliant as well. And it's come from Harrison Francis. So what a mark there for Francis.
Yeah, take a look at this one on the Dartfish replay. Brinkworth just seizes him up and puts it into the space. Francis position A, holds on strong, really good in front of Denton there.
So Francis into the team today for 2 in a row for Shock. Maybe just to, well, it won't make them nervous. They'll still be 41 points at the good, but it might just start worrying them a little bit. Kick is about to come. On the runway is Francis. Struts in, and he's missed. So 2 goals, 4 now, 16 plays at Port District's 9-9-63. An opportunity perhaps there, Jack, for what should have been. It is going to be Joey Haynes to bring it back into play. And he's an absolute dynamite player, is Joey Haynes.
He's found Miller Carter. He's had a good game off the half-back line. He's held his opponent really well. Rapagna hasn't had much of an influence. Carpeny wheels inside on that neat left peg. Finds the skipper in Sharrod. He's got Denton on short, goes over the top of him. Coming across there, Noble, impacted, got the spoil. McKay followed up. And laid a good tackle. So once again, we see Port District's being able to clear way too easily, and all of a sudden they're at true centre wing on the outer side. McKay tapped that one over his head. Found a Sacred Heart player, and Gaffney once again just mops up. Over the back of all players, Lysette shrugged one, couldn't shrug two. Gluyas, excellent tackle there by Darcy. And he's earned the holding the ball. Lysette just thought, I'm bigger than everyone, I can run through everyone, but Gluyas did well.
Well, it almost looked like a linebacker that just ended up with a football, just bang straight through, I'll take you all on. But no, unfortunately, Gluyas, too strong, caught on.
Great call.
Goes down towards a pack that does form. And that one is falling down towards Gaffney. Gaffney, then back. And it's Rose who gets it inside, falls off the head there of Brinkworth. And that is just spinning on its end. Picked up there by Ferns. Ferns then turns, gives it across towards Carter. Carter, Carpenter, still they step through, thrown on the boot. McDermott and says, yeah, I'll have the behind, and smashes into the behind post too. So just for good measure there. Gets it across the line. Talk about putting your body on the line. 9-10-64. Plays 2-4-16. A margin here of 48 points, sorry.
Scooter Lysette there just gave away a free kick, but it hasn't worked. Bowen Payne dropped the mark. It was a tough chance for him. The kick wasn't to his advantage, and then Gould did well to hold it up inside their 50. So Port have another look at goal here in this third term. Lysette taps boundary side. Gluyas corrals that one out of bounds.
He's just there looking at Lysette. He's so dangerous. He's able to tap it basically in a 360 direction. So just a really solid ruckman. As confident as he is tapping it down in front of him to players that are behind him. Watch him again in his ruck stoppage. This time decides to grab it out, win his own footy. Gives it across towards Sharrod there. He's then immediately wrapped up. And the umpire says, I'll have that one back. Ball goes up. Lysette. Oh, McDermott. Crush. And there's Ferns. Oh, just offline. It was touched in the end. Tell you what, McDermott was in the wars in this third quarter. He's been smashed and crashed.
He has smashed into the behind post, smashed in the face on the wing. Hasn't been a great day for Tommy McDermott or the Sacred Heart team, who find themselves 49 points down. 23 minutes gone in this third quarter. It's with Hildyard on the outer side. Neat ball down the line, finds his teammate. They've moved this inside nicely. Gluyas now ends up with McRae through a chain of hands. Come to this near side. That's the perfect execution of an inside switch. It's with Fox at half forward, and the entry once again has let them down.
I think that's 4 or 5 times this quarter that kick inside forward 50 has been below par, and to be honest with you, that's probably happened 4 or 5 times a quarter. You know, you start to hit those entries, all of a sudden this game's a lot different. It's really hard to score if you're not going inside forward 50.
Yeah, 100%. And then it finds its way to the blokes of like Joey Haynes and Cooper Gaffney with their ball use. They just cut you up, don't they? So it's been exemplary today, the way that Port Districts have played and set the game up. Gould now down the line. Dienhoff, good spoil over the back. Kills that one out of bounds. 23.5 minutes gone. 49 points the margin. Kieran Hayaketsu's scoreboard.
Yes, hello. Yes, that's thanks to the Kieran Hayaketsu scoreboard, and a man who is looking forward to a Kieran Hayaketsu tomorrow is Jack Banwell, because I can't do it because I've got other engagements after we film, but we are going to get him at some point before the great Tommy Duval is back with Kieran Hayaketsu on his head. The footy might be here on the wing.
Umpire's called 25 here, Lockie. McRae was just corralling the mark and stepped over the line, while Mitch Gaffney looked to have just stepped off it, but the umpire didn't call it. So unfortunately, it's a tough one, but yeah, 25 metres.
So Gaffney decides to go towards the leading Lysette. Oh, that was absolutely brilliant. Just backed him back, able to take the mark. His defender didn't know what was going on. And in the end, Scooter, the only thing he hasn't done today is kick a goal. Tell you what, him and Haynes, they're in a battle for the 3 votes at the minute.
Yeah, they certainly are. He's been absolutely immense in the ruck, as Lysette. He's, dare I say it, he's probably given Bradley Noble a bit of a bath. I think he's had the fair share in that battle today.
Yeah, the issue with Lysette is he's so big. It really makes life difficult for if you're playing on him, for you to be able to get to the footy, because he's always there and he's just got such a big frame. And Bradley Noble is a very good ruck in his own right, but Scotty Lycett obviously has a lot of experience from what he used to do during the day as his day job. And in he goes and kicks a goal too. Absolutely brilliant. Lycett adds his name to the goal kickers list. It is just getting more and more painful for Sacred Heart. And everyone in the competition tonight, when they go home and check the scores, is going to go, oh, wow, here we go. Port District are back. They never really left, and they're certainly not going away anytime soon. Talent as far as the eye can see, and Scotty Lycett is a big part of that.
This is turning into a bit of a statement, isn't it, Lockie? I did think that Sacred Heart would at least equalise the halftime margin or even bring it back a little bit, but you called it. You called the percentage booster, and it certainly looks like it's going to be that today.
Game high 55.
1 minute signs being held up on the bench from Port, so not much time left to go in this third quarter. Ball's bobbling around in the midfield. Lycett on all fours, gets a handball out. Coe tries to shrug Gaffney, gets a handball. Rapana just pops that one long to the top of the goal square, but back with the flight. Dom Denton, he's made an absolute living off that over on the Eyre Peninsula, taking intercept marks like that for Thevenard. And that brings three-quarter time here in the what was supposed to be the match of the round. It hasn't quite lived up to that one. Port Districts have been well in control here. They hold a 55-point advantage coming into three-quarter time.
Yeah, absolutely they do. They've been good. They have been really, really good. Port Districts, anytime they are challenged, they seem to just be absolutely all over the top of it. But we'll see you back here for more footy on the other side of this. Thanks for filming footy.
Get a quick and easy low-rate car loan from Police Credit Union today.
New 氷結 Vodka, soda, and frozen natural fruit juice. Hello, yes.
We've been housemates for, what, nearly 4 years?
Yep. Basically, since I started my uni degree and you got your apprenticeship.
Yeah, it's been really good. Like, it's the little things, you know? Like, one of us is always around to house it when the other goes on holiday. And one of us is always ready to help the other out of jam.
I don't know. Yeah, happen again. It's usually me. My HECS debt doesn't leave a lot of room for holidays or working transportation or food. But it's worth all the debt, right?
No.
But what about your debt?
Debt isn't a problem for me. I get paid to learn.
You belong in blue. Apply for a career with South Australia Police.
G'day everybody, welcome back here. Filming footy, bringing this one to you, Match Day Live, and it is an absolute and emphatic 10-10-70 plays the Spockos at 2-4-16, a 54-point ball game, 9 goals. The game's gone for shock. They haven't been quite as good as they have been in recent weeks. They'll be fairly disappointed, but I tell you what, Port District, just reminding everybody, there's absolutely a season to be won here and another flag to be won for the great club.
Yeah, certainly. It's not going to be... bloody lost what I was going to say there.
Do you need me to ask it again?
Nah, just Yeah, Sacred Heart, they haven't been on their A game today. They've had some players out, but I think it's also a case of how good Port Districts have been, Lockie. Like the way they've set the game up from their defensive half, they've been able to keep their ball locked in their front half. And they've put Sacred Heart to the sword. They've got 20 scoring shots to only 6, so they're dominating this ball game.
And of course, coming up after this one as well, if you are in the Largs Bay area, you do want to get down to Country Living Homes Reserve. I tell you what, there is going to be an absolutely fantastic game of women's footy on after this, and it looks like it's going to be Hectorville taking on Port District there, judging off the Guernseys.
Flinders Park.
Flinders Park, there you go. And it is going to be, well, you're going to have to watch that one from here. There'll be some recordings, there'll be certainly, but you're going to have to watch that one. If you do want to see it, you've got to see it in the flesh, that one. But you can always go back and watch this, especially if you're the persuasion of Port District. You probably enjoy going back and watching this one. 54 points, as we mentioned, right off the top of the three-quarter time break. We wait for the action to begin. If you're a Spock player and you're heading into this last quarter, you know you've got to run out roughly 30 minutes worth of footy. You're a shock player. And St. Peter's are at three-quarter time behind to Golden Grove. So that's why I said Spock, because I was just having a little bit of a look at that score. That's a massive one, 20 points. But if you are a shock player, how do you get yourself up for this? The game's gone. It's disappointing. You've got 30 minutes worth of footy. What are you looking to get out of this last quarter?
You just want to giving your best account of yourselves, giving your best selves to the game, to what's in front of you in this last quarter. I look at maybe someone like Clayton Simons, the captain. He hasn't had much of an influence on this game playing in the forward line, and the ball really hasn't got down there. So maybe he rolls up the ground, tries to get his hands on the footy a bit more. Just, maybe try a few things up if you're the coach. Have a look at some different players in different positions. And also, if there's some players under an injury cloud, maybe just put them on ice as well, because there's nothing to get out of this game now. 54 points the margin. Lycett, as he has done all game, won the majority of the taps, and he's won that one down over his shoulder. And Sacred Heart do clear, though, from the clearance. Gaffney, though, as he's done all day, mops up, and so is Haynes. He's going to get the 1-2 easy. Lycett with a bit of candy through the player, and Haynes continued his run, lowered his eyes, but the kick was smothered. So Sacred Heart, can they attack? And they do. Mitch Gaffney just slipped the tackle a bit higher there. And as we've seen for most of the game, there's not a lot to kick to for Sacred Heart forward of the footy. Francis was held by Gould. He stuck the one mid out and won the free. He's been good. He's come into the game today. Took a nice mark in the third quarter, didn't he, Lockie?
He did. Looked pretty impressive, as that one is going to go over the line and into the tennis courts. Well, we won't see that footy again.
Quick around the ground scores update there for all the viewers at home. Payneham versus Salisbury North. That's a 42-point ball game to Salisbury North. So that's a good away win there for Salisbury North coming up. Golden Grove, a 20-point advantage at home to St. Peter's in a second versus fourth game. So that was another top three double chance sorting out game. Prince Alfred is 60 points to the good against Broadview, and Ross Trevor hold a 3-goal lead on Glenunga, which is super important for Ross Trevor to keep their name in the finals race.
There's no real, aside from Spock up against his Lycett gets tapped down. I'll finish that thought off in a minute. Sharrod should get cleared off half back here. Good tackle into the dirt. And that was super impressive there from McAuliffe, who's really hasn't had a lot to do today. Hasn't had a massive impact on the contest. Just saying as well, Golden Grove and St. Peter's aside, it's really been the only game that has sort of shocked us. Everything else going as we expect. Carpeny brings out the soccer skills that Niskahus would be proud of. Ball then down towards Gaffney. Gaffney, a drilling ball along the line. That's going to be thrown back into play. It's an interesting round 11 of 18, of course. Everyone plays each other twice, then we play finals. We culminate with a grand final. Looking likely that's at Norwood Oval. Not 100% locked away as to where that's going to be this year, Jack. But I'll trust you'll be there on Division 1 Grand Final day. The footy goes down, and it's a bit of a scrap on at the minute.
Hope I get the call up, Lockie.
Oh, hope I get the call up. Adam Jeffries, watch your back. Hopefully Adam is having a great time wherever he is as well. Out next week as well as Adam Jeffries, we've got Lewis McKenna coming in.
I'm sure Adam Jeffries is sipping on a very nice bottle of Farmer's Leap on the couch somewhere or wherever he is watching.
Footy is about to get thrown back up
just in a bit of a holding pattern now of the game. 3 minutes gone in this last quarter. 54 points to the margin, no scores added thus far. Rapana and Noble sorted out between themselves. It's an up and under from Noble. Moore running back with the flight when he probably didn't need to because his man's got it on the ground. Carpenty, McDermott was called out of it by Noble. It's back to McDermott now. Look at the tackle pressure from Port. They're not letting up in this last quarter. And the umpire says, I'll have it. And that is Hildyard, I think, by the looks of that. Bit worse for wear, getting up. Last set, big punch, out of bounds.
Yeah, certainly no rush at all. This one gets thrown back in. 3 minutes in this quarter has eclipsed, and we didn't get a goal to Port District within the first 45 seconds. So they've failed to make it 4 in a row. They did get it 3 though and got their quarters started off in the best possible way. Sharrod Gray and McKenna, and McKay were the goal kickers there. This ball goes up the line. And that should go out. Niskahus keeps it in. Well done there, Dwyer. Snap on goal. And he threads the eye of the needle.
I called it.
You did call it. That is a Bianco magic moment if ever I've seen it. I wonder what he's going to get himself.
Not too sure. They have to go down to Bianco and find out, but the viewers at home can look at this one on the Dartfish replay.
Well, good things come to those that wait.
What a finish, Harry Dwyer.
He waited nearly all of 4 minutes. Pretty impressive in the end. What a finish and what a way to get some excitement into this game. Imagine now 60 points. And he's at that 10-goal mark now. Footy about to go up. 4 minutes, 44 seconds on the clock. Eclipsed. We wait post-game. Who's going to get the 3 votes? Haynes, Lysette. Does it come down a little bit more to who do you want to interview? Who have you got those relationships with there, Jack?
I actually don't have too many relationships with the guys down at Port District, so it's time to build some. I'll get down there and have a yarn to them at the end of the game. There's a whole host of people that are putting their names up for it. It's some similar names that you'd expect too, Lockie, the ones that feature most weeks in the votes and on the Between the Post wrap-up and things like that. They're just the reliable contributors. They're the big names for a reason. They deliver every week. McRae now has the footy right in the centre of the game, in the centre square. And well chopped off there, Miller Carter, who turns inside. Gaffney calls out Nash Haynes and says, I want position number 35 for the day. Carter soaring, marking.
Just on that point you were making before around the names and the contributions, you have a look at some clubs, and you got your 3, Golden Grove springs immediately to mind, Pittman, Pascoe, Glen. With Port District, it's everywhere. It's everyone that really contributes, and you don't really know where your star's going to come from. Obviously, you're expecting Lysette, you're expecting Haynes, you're expecting Gaffney. But past that, it's really, really incredible for the amount of contributions they can get across a game. It's why they won the premiership last year, and it's why they're looking like premiership favourites at the moment.
Yeah, great call. Agreed. And even Matt Rose, who come with all that sample experience. The couple of times that I've watched Port, he doesn't look like he dominates the game, but he's got in the best players a fair few times this year, so he's obviously playing roles and things that go unnoticed from us as watching and even people on the sidelines. It's more of an internal thing that the coaches really value. So, yeah, there's the 21 guys that take the field every week. They all play their role and they do it outstandingly well. Ball's come to the outer side on centre wing. And a bit of push and shove between Ethan Moore.
Wasn't out there last week.
Carlotto's just trying to... he was a laid out, Matt Rose. Yeah. Niskahus, he loves being in the thick of it. Jason Niskahus, he loves the battle. And it's very evident here, 7 minutes gone, that Port District's playing this one out right to the very end. Their tackle pressure's still been high as it has all game. Niskahus intercepted that kick, but it was not 15 and he wasn't aware. And he was dumped to the ground by Ethan Moore. He loves the thick of it. He loves the contest as well, Ethan Moore. He's probably been one of Sacred Heart's better players today through the middle of the ground. Tried his heart out. Jack Gaffney clears. Only as far as Gluyas. He dropped the mark though. Tommy Carter ends up with it. To full forward, Lysette chasing. And now they can repel Sacred Heart.
Sacred Heart, they do with Boyle. And then the link up, was dangerous. Smith in trouble. Gould was there, stalked him. And the umpire said that one is going to be a ball up. He was so close there to James Moody. He was nearly involved in the action on the camera down there. Send it up there with Gould. Gould looks. Oh, nearly a marking infringement now. Umpire let it play. Fern's got it forward, and that one has ended up over the line. Gluyas probably, I was going to say he kept it in, and he did in the end. Those whistles going, and the umpire did make a signal whether or not it's coming back. There is Sanderson doing his shoe up. It's back six as well, has conceded 21 scoring shots today for Sacred Heart. 10 have been behinds, 11 have been goals. It's been a pretty good effort considering the amount of entries they've probably been under. They probably suffered, 30 to 40 entries inside their defensive 50 today, and they've only conceded 21. They've only conceded 21 times.
And the rest, I think it's been an absolute onslaught from Port. Look at that ball from Haynes in the middle of the ground. It's a spear through Carter's hands. He cleans up the mess though. Left foot ball to Ferns, who rolls from the bump. Hildyard got him, or McDermott I think it was. Ball's come out, Carter, more intercepting. Niskahuis, good bump, fair bump, play on. Clever slap there, Boyle, Hildyard, and the ball's out of bounds. He kicked it before he was dumped over the line, and it's going to be out of bounds on the full for Port District.
It's going around the grounds one more time. BTR Excavations, thanks to Haynham and Salisbury North. Salisbury North still leading there. Obviously, Port District over the top here. Golden Grove have just about got it, 68 plays 47. Prince Alfred over the top of Broadview, and Ross Trevor and Glenunga as well also doing battle. So Glenunga are losing there. This ball comes down.
That probably dashes Glenunga's finals hopes, you probably think, Lockie. That leaves them 3 games out, I think.
Yeah, it's almost a 4-point game. Obviously, get 2 for a win. They needed to win that one, didn't, and they've just given 2 more points to their rivals, who they're also chasing for finals position. So the grand finalists from last year, the losing grand finalists from last year, after going 16-2 in the season, will not be playing finals this year. We would think mathematically possible, yes, but realistically, I think even the biggest Glenunga fans will probably know it might be a little bit too beyond them now. So the ball goes towards the outer side. Davidson goes out. And there is a great grab as well, Ferns. It does open the door, though, for another team. It looks likely St. Peter's are going to find themselves inside finals. Looks very likely that Payneham Norwood Union are going to miss as well, considering they're coming from further than behind than Glenunga are. 25 given away as Dynoff marches up the field. Means St. Peter's are going to have an opportunity to play finals as well as the ball goes inside. Collected there at the back. Lysette turning. Wow, for a big man he moves well. He's got 2 in the second half.
That's the best he's moved since 2018, I think. Scotty Lysette.
Yeah, it's the best he's moved since grand final night, that is for sure. Have a look at that. Got it inside. And what an amazing job he's done for his body to be able to still be playing footy. You know, it was very, very close to him, not playing footy again. I hope he doesn't mind me saying this. And there he goes, able to do things like that, bend down, pick up the footy. Electric stuff for the ruckman, and he's had a really good day. Can we revisit who's getting the 3, I think, after this match? Because I'm going to make a case for Scotty Lysette.
I was just about to write down my 3-2-1.
Leave it.
I'll leave it.
As hosts of Between the Posts, we've got as long as we want to give it to them.
True. In the middle now, Noble. They're just playing for pride now, Sacred Heart. Margin is 66 points. It's been a dirty day. It's been a sensational day if you're a Port District fan. The Largs legends on the outer side have been loving what they see.
6 goals to get to the 100 mark. You wouldn't think that's possible today, would you?
Oh, not quite. I'm laughing because it would be very bad if it did get that way. I think it's unlikely, but it's very likely that Port Districts might cross the 100 mark themselves, though, and maybe put it to 80 points, the way that the game's turning out to be at the moment. Carter, clever kick from Haynes. You saw that in the last second in the corner of his eye and checked his kick. 3-on-1 in the middle of the ground. They're still taking the game on Port. And being held without the footy was Ferns? Not sure. The umpire's blowing the whistle and not really signalling anything. It's always good when they do that. Ethan Moore's got the footy, not sure what for, but he's right in the centre of the ground.
Yeah, you certainly love that.
He's got Carlotto on a long searching lead. He's going in that direction. There's plenty of Port players, and in position 1A is Sean Davidson, who has worn Carlotto like a glove this afternoon.
Yeah, he'll get home, he'll take out his keys, his wallet from his pocket, and he'll probably find Carlotto in there as well. Absolutely owned him all day. Footy goes back across. Denton finds Carter. Carter up the ground. Good mark taken, turning pretty quickly there. Given off. Back to Carter. Then about 4 or 5 disposals in the last couple of moments. And that one is going over the line. And we're waiting for the game to begin again. Great day for Port District. Announced themselves back. Any premiership questions, whether or not they were a legitimate chance, they've been dashed, absolutely. Sacred Heart may be the team we start to wonder about. A couple of losses in a row, 2 wins after that. This is going to be a loss. 2 out of the last 4. Worrying signs, or probably something you can just mark down to come out against some good teams?
I think it's something you mark down against due to coming up against an extremely impressive outfit. It'll just be interesting to see. We touched on the players that are missing today for Sacred Heart, whether they're long-term injuries or what's sort of the go there, if they're just 1 weekers. If they get them back, then yeah, there's absolutely no question marks about Sacred Heart and their credentials this year. It's just a really bad day for them, and sometimes you get them. I think last year Sydney made the grand final and got absolutely spanked by Port Adelaide here in Adelaide. So yeah, good teams can have bad days. I think there's no problems about Sacred Heart.
Glenunga and Port District as well. Port District in the final series as Lyset runs into another. That's 3. He's kicked. Unbelievable. He's kicked 3 of the last 4. Dwyer's miracle from the boundary line is the only one that separates him. Scott Lyset is winding back the clock, and 2018's calling.
Scott Lyset's just got a phone call from junk time, and he's answered.
Well, he might be getting a phone call from a few AFL clubs in a minute as well. Back to it, Scotty.
The way he's moving, they'd be bloody impressed, I think.
Incredible moment for Scott Lyset. Margin now out to 72 points. It is 13-10-88. Plays 2-4-16. It is a very, very impressive day.
Holding on there, Ethan Moore. He was tracking the ball in front of Jack Gaffney. Pumps this one long to fall forward. Simons in a one-on-one. Davidson coming across. Held up by Rupana. Again, Davidson, he's been very, very good back there, hasn't he, today, Lockie?
Yeah, I was just saying he's probably one that might have come into the side in recent weeks. He'll certainly be staying there now. I think that's him getting experience again.
Gluyas on the top of 50, lowers his eyes. Francis soars. Good spoil, Denton. Sharrod tracking it. Fox, good tackle. Sharrod tried to draw the high one. Umpire says my ball as Sharrod's dumped in the sandpit. Niskahus is always the first one there to back up his teammates as well. Fox, another tackle. Rapana, Modistach, soaring out of contest. Gould. Umpire's found a free, or he's blowing the whistle.
Haven't minded Modistach either. A new role for him this year, going back down to defence, and has really taken to it as well, like a fish to water.
Where did he play last year, Modistach?
Oh, he was rolling around sort of in that wing area, so moved back down towards the defensive zone, and has been really good.
Yeah, very good. Good call. The last couple of times I've watched Port Districts, he's playing in that back line and just does his job. Sort of a small hybrid sort of back, and doesn't really allow any room for his opponent to get the footy. So yeah, he's one. Josh Ramsey probably just puts on the magnet. You don't even think about it. You know what you're going to get from him. So it's important to have people like that.
Lyset, Modistach, the midfielders, Haynes. Build the rest from there.
Gaffney. Fox, in he comes. Shanked it. Minor score. So it's gone from bad to worse for Sacred Heart. Some jovial cheers on the outer side from the Largs legends. I've had a few Kieran Hayaketsus, I think, today on that outer side.
Fair
They're
enough.
in full voice at the moment.
Fair enough, and something's been said to Fox. Niskahus is giving him an absolute earful just to let him know all about it. Meantime, the good news is that is the first score of the quarter. Better late than never. For Sacred Heart, Haynes. He's going across. I wonder what size Archie's Archie's he is. Have we brought the right ones? Gaffney down the line. He's given across to Gaffney. Cooper there, working in tandem with Mitchell. Jack's out there too. All three Gaffneys. Not involved in that play was Jack as the ball gets turned over. Sacred Heart coming forward. And Cooper Gaffney starts it again. That is an absolute scintillating pass. When you've got players that can do that, as Rose gets it towards the outer side, when you've got players that can do that at half back, you're almost playing a league above than everybody else. That kind of kick is incredible.
Yeah, it changes the game when you can move the ball like that.
Sharrod producing a kick of his own as Haynes goes inside forward 50. Turn around, chasing after it. Might be picked up. And that is a Deinhoff trying to rip it out. It's going to be a ball up though.
That was a clever kick from Sharrod as well on that outer side. Just checked it. It was almost like Zach Butters just on the outside of the foot there.
Yeah, incredible. These guys have got some great ball skills.
Deep inside Port's forward line. Held up there is Zach Sanderson. So 88 is the score currently for Port District. So their offense is still humming in season 2025. It's much better than it was last year. I think it's better by about 3 goals per game. So they've found some other avenues to goal. And Lysette after today will hold his position as the leading goal kicker for Port with 17 on the year. Takes the ball out of the ruck, doesn't find a handball, so he just gets a snapper away. Carlotto dropped that one in front of Carter. It looks like he's been swung back in this quarter. Haynes shovels a handball out. Fox strong over the footy, and so is Denton in the tackle. All fair.
Yeah, may find himself climbing up a little bit of the ranks. Davis has 17, so depending on how he went. Simons, he'll climb above him because 3 goals to none. And Wagner has got 15, so it'll be interesting to see how he went. But he may find himself inside the top 10 overall, Scott Lysette.
Is that Jake from Salisbury North, Wagner?
That is Tom Wagner.
Oh, Tom Wagner, yeah, gotcha, yep.
Yeah, there's a few Wagners going around. There's two at Salisbury North. We really do need to just start referring to them by first name. Carter
jumps over, gets a fist away, only as far as the boundary line though, and Brinkworth escorts that one over the line.
Yeah, back in we go again. Coe works it forward, and that is going to end up in the hands there of Rapanya. Rose, Niskahus gets fired out, chasing it back. McAuliffe inside forward 50. It's a high circulating football, and Davidson was backing back. He's been incredible down there. For mine, the best defender, I'd turn and ask Jack, but guess where Jack's going? He's going down boundary side. Who does he go and get? Who does he look at? Who gets the Archies? Who gets the Bianco? Who gets the best Mosley team man? Only Jack Banwell knows the answer at the minute. Absolutely sensational stuff down there, and a massive thank you to all those companies for jumping aboard, giving us the opportunity to give those away. Belgravia as well, they're involved with the Archies for Best on Ground. Some great prizes. It's what the players love most. Well, second to premiership medallions and wins. As the ball might get its way out. It does. Francis hasn't had a bad game as that one works forward. Simon's tackled and he's wrapped up. You have a look. Sharrod, we have a look at the goal kickers list. Sharrod started with the first 2. Dwyer, McKay, Deinhoff, Gray. Hill was the first one there just before half time. And then it was Gray, Sharrod, Deinhoff, Fox, Lysette, Dwyer, and Lysette kicked the last 2 goals of the game. It's a comprehensive wrap-up for the scoring. Season 88 to 17, a 71-point ball game. Not the highest, it's been 72 at the 15-minute mark. So the ball goes inside. A long footy. Touch through. Wouldn't that have been exciting? Is it behind? Margin now back at 70 points. Haynes. Oh, turnover. And that could have been dangerous. Haynes had to go back in and win the footy again. Doing an excellent job out there is Joey Haynes. He's going to get the ball here. 3 disposals for Haynes. He's had to have at least 30 today, I think. He's brought his own footy in the first half and certainly didn't lose it in the second either. So the ball goes inside. Francis, he was trying to get there. Over and out it goes. Not a bad week, not a bad couple of weeks for Haynes when you look as well. 32 disposals last weekend. had a couple of shots at goal, 8 rebound 50s, 3 inside 50s as the kick goes, and there's a goal there as well. Excellent work. And Sacred Heart get another. They desperately needed that one. Turnover there. Awful kick in, and it was just there, snapped, and goal. Good work there, Sacred Heart, their 3rd goal of the day. So they move themselves along to 3-6-24. Port District 13-10-88. And that was a nice bit of reward for a team that has worked hard all day. Been outclassed. Margin now back to 64 points. But they are away. And there's a kick coming off the back of the square. Good mark taken by Gaffney. He hasn't had a bad game at all himself. And there is McRae, bone crusher, great grab. Might have had his own bones crushed in there, but he seems to be okay. Took a bit of contact to grab the football. And that one goes up, and there's a good mark there taken by Gaffney, half back. Playing kick to kick with McRae at the minute, goes inside and gets Sharrod involved. And Sharrod outer side, switch kick complete, Rose. Rose up the line finds Haynes. How many times have you called that at Samford level? There would have been a few times those two would have connected down at McGain Stadium. That one now is with Dwyer. And Dwyer goes up and finds a teammate at half forward. And they are just having fun with it at the minute as Carter's got the ball. No real rush at all is Thomas Carter. He lines up. Yet to find himself on the scoreboard, so does need it. Holds himself in and kicks. It's going to go across the face. Big pack fly. Ball stays down, cleared. And still everyone fights. It's it forward, and that's a good mark taken as well. Turning nice and quickly there to get themselves out of trouble is Fox. Playing down at the back. Fox back across the goals. Gluyas. Been probably best on from a shot persuasion. Payne. Hilliard, dangerous kick. Carter was there. He read it like a bit of a book then. And across there towards Haynes. Haynes to Denton. Handball might be turned over. It is eventually. Forster gets it forward. Bouncing ball and over and out for a boundary throw in. Another look around the ground is where we'll go. Another little look. Salisbury North, Port District, Golden Grove, Prince Alfred and Ross Trevor all winning their games. Broadview, will they get a win in season 2025? It's a storyline that will be talked about on Between the Posts. Tomorrow morning we'll film. You guys will probably see it sometime on Tuesday. As well done to Boyle. Just came drifting through. Had a look at his own and missed. Nearly had his own goal then. 3-5, plays at 3-10. So a bit of a flourish here for Shocks. They move into next week's challenge. Got a big game. It's at home at the Senior School Oval against Golden Grove. Up the line is where they go. Ball falls. It's picked up by Ferns. Ferns then gets it forward. Smith taps, wraps up his direct opponent, and it should get cleared there by Payne as Payne just comes sauntering out of the back half. That's a great mark. That is a great kick as well from Payne. Found Fox at half forward. It was an absolutely drilling ball. And there it is, the siren. A kick. It won't mean anything for the result. It also won't mean anything on the scoreboard. Port District are back. A 13-12, 88 performance there. Shock getting absolutely demolished there, 3-6-24. And if there was ever any challenge over their finals or their premiership credentials, it is all but over there. Port District get the job done nicely in the end, a 64-point ball game. absolutely incredible. Both teams tried really hard, but in the end, 13-10, 88 plays at 3-7-25. So the job done in the end by 63 points, that would be, as I double check the scoreboard there. Beautiful, beautiful work by Port District. Their best today, Joey Haynes, Scott Lysette. Certainly there, Cooper Gaffney made a run at the end. Liked the game as well of Harry Dwyer. Sharrod with his 3 goals was great. Gray had a couple there in the second over the other side as well. Certainly there with Darcy Glues, who I thought was good in the first quarter. Fox had his moments, a little bit quiet in the game. Bo McRae, Bone Crusher, always lays some tackles. But certainly plenty to come from the award show as Jack Banwell grabs his players. An embrace there between the 2 coaches, Colotto playing coach and the main man there in Ramsey. I wonder what their discussion is going to be. Match highlights brought to you by Dartfish. Of course, one of our amazing sponsors. This was early in the day. Kick goes inside forward 50, and it was an absolute almost flyer there. We thought we were away. As the kick from Sharrod there started the day, a big bomb it was. And he almost absolutely tore the house down with that one. Coming out here, this is Loses kick from defence, the long penetrating footy. And a great grab as well in the centre of the ground. One got out. And I tell you what, Harrison Francis, for a young kid, flies well at the footy. Great attack, it's what you want to see. Picked up there by Ferns, who got it back to Sharrod. And Sharrod, that was his second goal of the day, second goal of the day overall as well. Margin was at 13 points at that stage. It was a long way. It was a long way before as this one was in the pocket. Sharrod picked it up, gave it across this time. Dwyer snapped the goal. Did a couple of those. You can see it there, the double fist bump. He loved it. Had nothing on the goal before. It was, again, another shot for goal here. They just kept going. And and we're going to go boundary side. Jack Banwell's got his award winners.
Yes, down here at ground level, sensational win here for Port Districts. And the 3 players I've got, Harry Dwyer to my left for the Bianco magic moment with his goal in the last quarter. Cooper Gaffney brought his own footy across the half-back line today, just set up everything for Port. And Sean Davidson, Mosley, best team man. So we'll start with you, Harry. Talk us through your goal in the last quarter, mate. Sensational.
Yeah, it was a good goal, but Nishi's handball was, I was the beneficiary of that, so it was just good to get the win.
Coop, yourself, mate, you guys set the game up really well from the back half. What did you make of the game as a whole?
I just thought we brought the pressure today and it just made everything easy. Just the quick kicks down back made it easy.
It's a pretty good assumption too. Your pressure was red hot. It was really good. And Sean, it looked like you had a role in Kyle Otto today. You held him goalless and held Sacred Heart virtually goalless for the game. They only got a couple. So.
Yeah, Kay is obviously a big figurehead for their team, so he's an important cog that we've got to stop every day. So the pressure down the ground as well makes it a lot easier to defend the aerial stuff.
The Port District's train keeps on rolling. Back to you in the box there, Lockie.
What they need to do, back to the Dartfish highlights, of course. But I mean, absolutely insightful there to have a little bit of a look, and a little bit of a think inside what the players are feeling. Pretty interesting there. The Bianco magic moment ended up with Harry Dwyer. First person he thanked was his teammate that got the handball from him, to him, as the goal goes through there for another. Port District fans obviously sitting back, glass of Farmer's Leap or maybe a Kieran Hayoketsu, absolutely loving this. As Dinoff, this was his first on the day, ended up with a couple. That was at the 10-minute 50 mark. Margin was out to 35. No, sorry, that was Gray who kicked that one. That was just after half-time. 40 points, Dinoff set it up. And this was out towards Davidson, who was best on, as Jack Banwell finds his way back inside. Jack, mate, talk us through the selections out there. We left it all to you, and you did a fine job.
Yeah, I felt the pressure of awarding those votes, Lockie. There was a whole host of people I could have given it to, but yeah, I thought I'll start with Davo in the back line. His role on Colotto was really excellent. I thought held him goalless, and then just his role in he's got loads of experience, so he's the main architect of their defensive setup and things like that behind the ball, and the way they were able to just strangle Sacred Heart in their own half, I thought was really good for Davo. Cooper, well, he brought his own footy today. He had so much of the footy. I thought his kicks were really damaging as well when they were set up in that front half. He was able to get the ball. He was able to gain 40, 50 metres with his kicks just about every time. So, yeah, he's really good by foot. And then Dwyer, well, that was some finish, wasn't it? You'll be able to go back and look at that one on the stream.
Yeah, it was some kind of finish. It was just a little cheeky check side. Just somehow he managed to get it through. I will never understand it. I will never understand how he did that. I'll never be able to do that. And a bit of news coming out here. So the scoreboard down the bottom, I do apologise, is incorrect there. It's 3-7-25 plays 13-10-88. That was the final score. Sacred Heart won the last quarter by a point.
Yeah, wow.
So there you go. Potentially, it was as high as 72 points out there. Oh, hang on, I've just done the math. They didn't. 63. Sorry, I said 53. My apologies. They lost the last quarter by 9 points. So that's what you get for failing basic math.
I'll just add to that as well. It was Coop and Sean both said it at ground level. The game was won and lost from their pressure. I think, what do you reckon there, Lockie? They were immense around the ball, at least for the first 3 quarters, and then probably about halfway through the last quarter, they probably put the cue in the rack a little bit and just shut up shop and saw the game out. But, yeah, that's what set the game up from the very start, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's hard to make an argument that says it wasn't because of that pressure. They were absolutely ferocious. If they do that every week, they'll beat anybody. Anybody and everyone. They are absolutely ruthless at the minute. And, yeah, just something incredible as we watch the last of the Dartfish highlights we'll see today. Just almost speechless at how good that pressure was, if that makes sense. Just absolutely ferocious. Anytime anyone ended up with the ball that was wearing a blue Guernsey, there were 4 or 5 black and white Guernseys around them immediately, able to just launch in, lay a tackle, and absolutely, they were well and truly deserving winners today. That's how they ended up winning the game. They do deserve it. They absolutely do. Port Districts, they get the job done. Jack, do you have any further thoughts? Anything to add? Anything you feel like we've missed in this post-game wrap?
Sacred Heart, it's a bit tough to get a gauge on whether they were maybe a bit poor today or if Port Districts were just way too good. We did touch on throughout the broadcast that they were missing quite a few numbers and players that would have been in Carlotto's best 21, I guess you'd say, and then you're sort of relying on a bit of depth there. And perhaps maybe that depth was tested against a full-strength Port District, but they brought the pressure, they brought the heat, and then most importantly, they finished off their work, which is something that they haven't done in a couple of games this year.
Just before we do have a look at the round 12 fixture, you guys can see it on the screen. How much do you think that margin was an aspect of a shock team that was tested with its depth against a Port District team that was at full strength?
I think it was probably that margin is probably a fair reflection of how the game went and what we saw. They were able to get off to a fly with the wind, and then as soon as they restricted Sacred Heart in that second quarter, who did have the wind, and we thought things might even out, it didn't prove to be the case. They even extended the margin, so that's probably where the game was won and lost, and I think it's probably a fair result.
Round 12 fixture coming up, of course, next weekend. Broadview Tigers taking on Port District. Ross Trevor, Prince Alfred, Sacred Heart up against Golden Grove. The stream team game will be there. Salisbury North and Glenunga, and of course St. Peter's taking on Payneham Norwood Union. Where are you next week, Jack? Do you know?
Got the week off next week, Lockie.
Got the week off. There you go. So we won't be seeing Jack Banwell across our screens, but he did an absolutely fantastic job today. Thank you for filling in, mate. You did a fantastic job.
No, thank you. It was an absolute pleasure to join the stream team today.
And we do have some sponsors to thank as well as production. We'll go the sponsors first. Filming Footy, Sports Interactive, Classic Clashes, Custom by RTC, High Five E-Bikes, Dartfish, Archie's, Jag Meatworks and Kimberley Resorts. The scoreboard, which sees a 63-point margin, was brought to you by Kieran Hayoketsu. And, of course, Dartfish, Archies, everybody basically helped out the entire thing. You saw the replays. That was brought to you by Dartfish. You saw the Archies best on ground there given away along with the other sponsors there, Bianco, the Belgravia, and the Moseley. Farmers Leap, they bring us the Coach of the Week. That'll be an interesting discussion on Between the Posts. You can catch that during the week as well. That will come out Tuesday. Mark of the Week brought to you by Born to Build. Mark of the Year brought to you by Moonline Suites by Kimberley Resorts. The winner gets 3 nights accommodation in Rome. And the last one, the Snag of the Year, brought to you by Jag Meatworks, where the winner receives a tray of their finest meats. Massive thank you to James, Yushin and Hugo as well for all the fantastic work they do. They do a brilliant job. And a massive thank you to you guys for tuning in at home. We hope you enjoy the coverage. And if you're a fan of Port District, you're going to want to stick around and see this because it's the song